We'll start seeing people piling in here just a second.
You are live.
That should have been decent back there.
Looks good.
Now we just need a Kaluga for both of us. We can just put up there on all of our streams.
I'm working on one.
Hey, Tin Horse Monty just alive. So let's start showing up here shortly. Oh, Tina's already asked for the link. All right. There's some people coming in. Where is your? Oh, there's the comments now. They're coming through.
Here we go. Here we go.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, OK Bassmaster? Robert, Sean. Good to see you guys out here. Just kind of settling in. I just got off work at 6, went home, changed, had a couple forks full of chicken and dumplings and a few green beans, grabbed a water and a soda, and hit the interstate. Just walked in the door. So just another typical Monday for me.
Speaking of walking in the door, Mox and Lure just walked in the door. What's up?
What's up, Tom? Saw Tom the other night on a live stream. Sophia, my daughter, I hope you get to feeling better, baby. She's kind of under the weather right now.
Yep, I seen Tom was actually sharing our link a while ago. So we appreciate that, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
That helps out a bunch. Let's see, we're going to wait till a couple more people start getting in here.
Got Levin Cox in here, Robert Daniels, Carl.
Sure. Okay. So we'll get Matt going here.
Greg's in here.
So
Greg's here and
do what?
I said Greg Dudley's here.
Oh yeah, that's
Greg's
Greg Dudley. Yeah.
Greg's here, yeah.
523 subscribers, I think. Yeah, it's getting up there, Carl.
Yeah, that's good.
So that giveaway actually goes off tonight at midnight. So I'll do the video tomorrow, and we'll see who won the reel. So all right, so we'll get our special guest going in here. Let me send him a little invite. Let's see if I remember how to do this.
What's up, David? Sean wants to know what kind of reel you're giving away.
Actually, giveaway. You reach up back there. Oh, Dave, what's up?
It is the Abu Garcia Revo X HS. And what is it? 7 to
7 to 3. 7 to 3 to 1, yeah.
Yeah, 7-3 to 1. Right there. That's the giveaway. Tonight's the last night to enter that. And I'm sure he's going to be dropping a video with the winner on it next couple of days. So
that'll be, actually tomorrow. I'll drop the video tomorrow evening. So
okay.
It gets over tonight at midnight. So
get in there if you haven't got in there. It's a nice reel, really nice reel. Take it out of the box and then look at it one more time. I'm gonna play with it. He won't let me in there, so at least I get to play with it and feel it. There it is. Nice. Oh.
It is definitely a nice reel.
It is a sweet reel. Low profile. I like that thing, man. That's nice.
You're going to give away a Shimano DC at 1,000, right? Dude, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know.
I tell you what, you can ask Gabe. I've done some pretty nice giveaways. They haven't been cheap. I can tell you that.
No, that last giveaway with all the baits.
Which I still got to get with Mr. Hall or DJ Hall. Hall.
Yeah.
So I still got to get with him and figure out a time to meet him and everything else. So speaking of DJ Hall, there he is.
There he is. He's like, "Where's my
DJ?
stuff,
I haven't forgot about you.
It's just
we had a funeral this week. There was a wedding this weekend. There was just all kinds of stuff going on. So
busy week.
Yeah, it has been. So we'll wait here just a minute. We should have our guest coming in here shortly. Just sent him the email, so it'll take him just a minute to get set up and get in here. But if you can tell from behind us, that's who it's going to be here over there. Yeah.
Oh, Fishing Family said be easy with my reel. Hey, a little confidence, man. A little confidence. I like that. Corrado. I like the new Corrados. I haven't the
like
non
Crowd Okays.
Yeah,
The one I got.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
They're nice. They're smooth. I'd tell you, if I went back and bought it again, I would probably, if I knew then what I know now, I would 100% buy one for crankbaits.
Mm-hmm.
It's smooth. I mean, they're just so smooth. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it for my flipping and stuff. But
I fished one late last summer. My buddy Jonathan bought a couple, and we were out fishing on Cedar, and he was talking about it. I said, "Let me see that for a minute." And I think he had a speed worm on there, and I made like one cast out on the point and hooked up, and I'm like, "Man, this reel's great. I love this reel." As I'm fighting the fish in, so it was perfect timing.
What's that supposed to mean, Okie?
Greg, your voice is deeper right now.
Yeah, that's because I'm not sick anymore. I can actually talk normal. And Gabe hooked us up with the mic, so that does make a huge difference.
Yeah, that mic is pretty nice. I had it sitting around. I'm glad we're putting it to good use. What's up, Full Armor? Good to see you in here.
Oh, I didn't even see Full Armor. What's up, man?
Mr.
Nice to
Fat,
see you, Adam.
drinking his coffee, letting his hair stand up with the nice music in the background.
Who's that?
Full Armor.
Oh, Full Armor. Yeah, I love his hair.
Yeah.
Every time I see it, I just want to see him going down the lake, at about 40 or 50 miles an hour. I want to see what happens. I want to see if he actually gets lifted off.
Man, it's like
I know. I'm afraid to lift him out of his seat.
You might be right, man.
I love it. So,
see, Bill says, how is the boat project coming along? Man, I'm making progress. I got about 6 or 7 boat mod videos that I'm working on right now. I started doing the wiring last night, and let me tell you, that is, got to take a lot of deep breaths. That's probably going to be the most time-consuming thing. The person I bought the boat from had this, I don't know, it's like I'm not sure, I'm not a contractor or anything, but it's it looks like a garden hose, and it has 5 or 6 wires running through it. And it was wedged in between the ribs going down from front to back. And I didn't want it in there anymore. And I spent like an hour getting that thing out. It was ridiculous. I had to actually take a pry bar to get slack in it. And then I took my tree trimmers, limb trimmers, that cut off like 2 or 3 inch limbs, and I cut it in a bunch of pieces. And then I had to take hand soap and lube it up to pull it from the ribs, and it was quite the project. And I felt like I climbed a mountain after I got that stuff ripped out of there. And so I started doing that. That's what I'm working, but I've got most of the stuff at least cut and ready to screw in silicone and all that. And now it's just a matter of running the wires, and then I'm going to be doing the carpeting after that. So I'm really, really pushing to get done in a couple weeks. I've got my day off is Thursday. I'm going to work all day Thursday, all day Sunday. And if I can really focus on it, I can get it knocked out.
You keep going on that. Let me.
So I'm excited. I think it's going to look good. So far it's going good. I mean, it's always weird. I just put a hatch in, another hatch in the front, and I had to cut a 40 by 13 inch rectangular hole out of the front deck of my boat. And that's always fun. And I only had 1 inch leeway. If I went outside that 1 inch, I would miss my holes and stuff on that hatch. So I was going really super slow with that jigsaw, really focused, aluminum flying everywhere. But it's cool, man. It's fun. I enjoy it. I mean, yes, I want to be fishing, but at the same time, there's no better time to do a boat project than in the winter. Especially right now we got this cold stuff.
No kidding. Rain, actually,
we got nasty weather coming here.
I seen somewhere up here. Where was it supposed to be? David. Oh, David asked about change with sound. It sounds different on my end. Yeah, Dave, we were just explaining that. Gabe brought up this mic, so it's a whole lot better now.
It's a little Shure podcast mic.
Yeah, we went back and forth looking at the old ones and the new ones, and the sound quality is a whole lot better. But one thing I wanted to get in real quick, just before we get Matt on here, Georgia Bassmaster, what is the water temps up in your guys' area? I can tell you that the lakes around just right where we're at have been hitting about 37, 38 degrees. There's a power plant lake. It's pretty close. It's been hitting probably low 50s?
High 40s and low 50s around the power plant area. Now on the other end of the lake, it's mid 40s, probably 46, 47. That was about a week ago. I was over there.
Yeah.
We went to Little Grassy. I just, that last video I dropped Saturday was at Little Grassy Lake, and that was a week prior. And we started out and the water temps were 37 degrees, and we found 41-degree water. So yeah, it's definitely pretty cold. There he is, Mr. Matt.
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, we can't hear you.
No audio.
No audio?
What's going on, buddy?
Can you hear me?
No,
Got
we
you
got
now.
it.
You're good. Yeah, you're good. There's just a little delay. So
How we
got your
doing?
logo in the background. How you like that? I got to get in here a little tighter.
Yeah. I guess I could.
We're good. We'll just be buddies. We'll just get all nice
Oh,
and cozy
actually,
up
it
in
really
here.
doesn't matter because it's still full screen on their end.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
just our end. We can't see it.
Okay. I just like.
So how are you guys doing for a Monday night?
Huh? Well, I can't.
We're
complain
doing
too
good,
much.
man. I got it's a scramble for me to get up here. I work until 6 o'clock usually on Mondays, and so it's a matter of getting home, changing clothes, grabbing something to eat, and just
Right.
hitting the interstate. It's about a 25-minute drive up here, so I usually just walk in, sit down, and here we go. So that's where I'm at right now. But
I've never seen him early ever.
it's pretty rare. I'll make it sometime.
Well, obviously we could have ice on the water. It could be snowing, so we've got it pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been pretty nice.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about over there, being water temperature and stuff like that. We're dealing with about, 37, 38 degree water temps over here, but I'm sure, like Gabe said, you got about, mid 40s to probably mid 50s on the range over there. So,
Yeah, I think the temperature we've got on the right now is about 45. It reaches up to about 50 near the power line. That's the water temperature right now.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
nice. Just an introduction to you guys. If you don't know who we're talking to here, this is Matt from 3pound Fishing, and he has a guide service in the Southern Illinois area, and he has a really good YouTube channel, 3pound Fishing. So make sure you go and check that out. And he's also really knowledgeable about the Garmin LiveScope units, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
I know we went fishing.
we're going to get into that here.
Yeah, late last fall, I think it was. You took me out in your boat, and man, it was like hypnotic, just sitting there watching all that stuff going on underneath the boat, and pretty cool technology.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'll tell you what I've done. The Grizzly Jig show for crappie fishing. I just got done with the Marion boat and fishing show, and everybody's talking about LiveScope. It's exciting. I've been fortunate enough to have it for a while since April last year, and I've learned a lot. And I want to share that. So.
yeah. And guys, anybody on here that wants to get linked up with 3pound Fishing, I've got everything linked down below. His Instagram, his Facebook, his YouTube channel, and his number on there too, if you guys want to look him up for a guide service and stuff like that. So everything is down in the description. So
Awesome.
So, Matt, I didn't get a chance to watch your latest video, but is it true that you have 2 LiveScope units now on your boat?
I've seen that. Yeah.
You're jumping all the way to the front of the line for sure. I'm very people with 2 LiveScope systems out there. It's overkill. People at overkill. I'm very passionate about it. So I have a LiveScope system on the back and the front of my boat. And the reason why I do that is for the guide trips. A lot of people want to see their jigs. They want to experience. And it was difficult for me to do both, steer the trolling motor and share that experience for them. So now they have their own LiveScope there, and they can do and see anything they want to see. So
Did you have to? I need to watch that video. How did you rig that up on the back exactly? Do they make mounts specifically for that, or is it something you kind of just had to fabricate?
There was a lot of thought that went into it. Obviously, I had to get I had a switch installed. I had an extra battery put in, and because of that, I had to get another battery charger put in. I guess the thing that I wanted it to be was kind of be versatile. I wanted to be able to move it from the back to the front so that, we are also a professional fishing team. So we do the Crappie Masters, the ACT events. We do every big event that the crappie, industry has. And we wanted to utilize it during those events too. So guide service was one thing, certainly probably what led me into it, but we definitely wanted to have more use for it in addition to that. So we also have the system on the back of the boat can actually be moved to the front of the boat as well. So we can have 2 systems up there for me and Wade. And it wasn't easy. So we networked the 2 monitors in. We are using the 1042 SVXs, I think they're called. I might have that wrong, but 1042s is what I call them. And I have the exact same monitor on the front and the back, and they talk to each other, and I can see both monitors on each one. So it makes it a lot easier.
That is really cool. I'm hoping to get out there someday and witness it live. I mean, that I had, I've said this many times, but that day that we went out was really relaxing and really eye-opening as far as, you think when you go out with live bait, you got minnows that you're just going to catch them and a fish is not going to shy away. It's live bait. I mean, it's what they eat. It's one thing to have artificial stuff. Of course, you're thinking, well, yeah, there's a chance that a fish isn't going to be tricked by that. But live bait, you're thinking it's a shoe-in, but it's not. You can witness those crappies swim up to that minnow and just kind of fade into it and then just go away. That blew me away, man.
Yeah, so there's no button on the Garmin LiveScope that makes the fish bite. And I always tell people that people ask me, how do you spend less time because you have LiveScope? But the reality is I probably spend about equal amount of time. I don't fish what does not have fish. But if I see fish there because of LiveScope, I will stay there probably twice as long as I need to. And it is fun from a minnow perspective to see a crappie not. So to be honest with you, we have only been we sit them, we play the crappie with those, whether they like the crop, whether they like the jig right in front of them or a little bit higher. We've done a lot less minnow fishing because of what we're seeing on LiveScope right now.
So I got a question for you. What is a typical, walk us through a typical day as far as a guide trip? Say if somebody's wanting to get in touch with you, what do they need to bring? Do they contact you via email? What's the best way to go about doing that?
Well, at the end of the day, when somebody purchases that amount of time with me, it's like 7 hours is a daily trip. And I tailor it to whatever they need. So a lot of guys want to talk about electronics. They want to talk about side imaging. They want to talk about other things. Not everybody has LiveScope. It's an eye opener when they get on the boat, but for sure, a lot of people want to spend some time on electronics. So we do whatever they want to do. But typically we exit our cove. We do some side imaging on some points, and we start catching fish. I mean, we do whatever they would like. If they want to throw a float, we throw a float. If they want a vertical jig, that's what we do. I have not yet experienced anybody that wants to do spider rigging up to this point, but I'm certainly have a boat that's suited for spider rigging. We do that during tournaments, but we do whatever is catching fish. I fish Lake of Egypt a lot, and I always give them a kind of a fishing report to what's going on within a week prior to their visit. I don't typically tie people into their date, so they lock in their date, and then I like to let people know that if we look at the weather and it's 20 miles an hour, I don't want to be out there just like they don't want to be out there. So we reschedule it, and you're not tied into that date. But the most important thing is everybody's having fun and the experience is good.
So right now, are the fish still in the winter pattern, or have you seen them making some sort of movement yet, or is it just too early for that?
Well, they are still in the winter pattern for sure. I'll tell you, we went out 2 nights ago. In fact, I'm editing as I'm sitting here waiting for you guys to chime in, right, to grab me for the live feed. And I would love to show you what I'm working on, but we caught some incredible fish in the evening out there, 2.4, a 2.1. So people that want to talk about crappie fishing, those are big fish for crappie. And the 2.4 was actually only 14 and a half inches long. And that's a fat crappie. That's exciting stuff. So we caught a ton of fish, and they are definitely still in their winter phase. And when I look at the weather, they're going to stay there for the next, 2, 3, at least, next couple of weeks anyway, for sure. So, but the fish are good. Really good.
I know I've been over there a few times in the last couple of weeks, and man, the fish are just so fat right now. The bass, of course, I'm bass fishing, but they're so fat. It's just, they're like freaks of nature, how swelled up they are, and they're putting that feed bag on. You got a good body of water over there.
Where else have you been fishing?
Well, we went to Grassy a week ago,
cool.
and I haven't been to Cedar in about a month because I've been working on. I just bought an aluminum boat. I sold my other boat. I got a new one, so that's been an ongoing project. But yeah, Egypt and Grassy is the two lakes that I've been fishing a little bit. But those fish over there in Egypt are just fat, really fat.
And Matt, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to put this up here for you. See if you can answer this.
Okay, so I typically use, I think it's effective up to about 70 feet forward view. It's funny, I did the presentation yesterday at the Marion Pavilion, and a lot of people talked about what its capabilities are. So it gives you the ability to scan all the way out to whatever, 150 feet. But reality is that it gets so fuzzy after 70 that I kind of lose track of what's going on. So when I'm out there fishing for crappie, I'm looking for, I'm searching in 70 foot forward, and I'm looking for schools of crappie. If I'm brush pile fishing, I typically will look for my brush pile in 50 foot forward, and then I will fish it in 20 foot forward mode. That's my what I like to stay in constantly when I'm fishing a brush pile. When you do that, when you're consistent with that, what happens is you get a really good idea of what a good sized crappie looks like when you're consistent with it. So, but in terms of how far forward you can look, it's 70 is kind of what I feel is a good answer to that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, if anybody else has got any other questions at all, make sure you leave them down in the comments. We'll put them up here so Matt can answer them or whatever. So,
what's funny is so we're talking. You guys are bass channels, right? Bass fishing channels, essentially, right?
Right.
So, I was with a buddy that loves bass fishing, and I love the fact that we were out crappie fishing. We weren't doing too well, and he was like, we saw some bass popping in a corner. He had the LiveScope. He flipped it around. I don't know if we were in my boat actually. And you could watch those bass starting to pop on the shoreline. So as far as bass fishermen, are you guys using LiveScope? What are you seeing in your industry in regards to LiveScope? Is it getting bigger? How is it going over on your side of the fishing industry?
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit, Matt, when we were out together, as far as the LiveScope versus the 360 and, the applications in bass fishing. LiveScope's definitely growing. Lowrance came out with their live version of the LiveScope, and it's selling, but I see a lot of guys using the Humminbird 360 because now like with schooling fish, kind of similar to what you're talking about with your buddy when you're bass fishing. And we experienced this a little bit too when I was out with you, is doing side scan and seeing the schooling bass, and then being able to use the Garmin LiveScope and kind of follow the shad, the shad as they're moving around, because shad don't sit in one spot. If you're fishing a brush pile like what you typically do, you can kind of ease up and spot lock there, and then use your LiveScope to kind of scan the brush pile. But something that's moving like a school of shad, it's nice to have that LiveScope that you can actually follow those shad around and stay on top of the fish that are moving around with the shad. So that I can really see that coming into play, that technology in a bass fishing situation, like following schooling bass around. But I'm still running like Gen 2 Lowrance stuff. So I don't have, it's a dream of mine to get something. I definitely would like to have that stuff.
We're all a bunch of poor boys.
Yeah, we
can't afford that. So
well, it was fun to watch the bass on LiveScope. And I remember us targeting them because I would swing that sucker around in 50, 70, and we would be casting towards them. And sometimes we'd have luck, sometimes we wouldn't, but we could definitely see the bass and how aggressive they were, how quick they were moving. Crappie don't move like that. I mean, bass are they're much quicker. But it was fun. It was fun. So I could definitely see a use in the bass community. I was just curious if these big tournaments, if these guys were not using LiveScope there as well. So
yeah, some of them are.
Yeah.
So Steve's got a question for you there, if you could see it.
Yeah, I got it. That's awesome. Well, I don't know what he means by the whole unit. So there's three parts to LiveScope. There's the transducer in the black box. That's one piece of it. That's $1,500. They do have a $200 rebate out there right now that you can take advantage of. I've never seen that. That's a huge advantage. So let's just call that $1,300. That's the transducer in the black box. Then you have to buy a monitor. And the important thing about buying a monitor is that it is compliant with, or it works with LiveScope. So not every Garmin unit that they sell will show LiveScope. So I always, and I've told everybody the last 3 weeks, is that call Garmin, verify that yours can show LiveScope before you purchase it. I use a 1042. There is a 1022 that I know costs $1,000. That's cheaper. And then there's a 9SV, which is around $600. So those are your big options. A lot of guys will go with that 9-inch just because of price point, and it's the 9-inch screen, still nice. But when he says the whole unit, I'm not the whole unit. There's those two pieces, and the third part would be your mounting and your accessories, how you're going to mount it. I recommend everybody put it on their trolling motor right off the bat. It's free, and that's how I use it. Most crappie fishermen will use it. It's just putting it right on the shaft of your trolling motor. So, good question though.
I'll say, just to give you a little heads up here, Matt. If you ever see this guy here, Big Snow lives in Florida and likes to give us a lot of crap about all the fish he's catching all the time and the nice weather down there. So if you see him show up on your channel, you know who he is. So
I'd like to join him in the 12-ounce pearl
that you don't have. So here's another question here. I'll check my boat.
So on spot lock, so he's asking the question, how does it work when it's on spot lock, essentially? Whether it's on the barrel, the shaft, the trolling, it doesn't work good. So, and that's the big, so if you use your spot lock a lot, it's not for you. I don't use my spot lock a lot. So people would think that I spot lock on top of piles. And I've had that question a lot. I don't at all. I use my foot pedal. I'm managing the wind. I'm managing my boat while I'm on a brush pile. And if you want to sit off a brush pile and put it on spot lock the whole time, then what you need is what's called an independent mount. Fishing Specialties has one. Cornfield Crappie Gear has a nice, the brand newest one is called Live Sweep. But a lot of guys are also making them with PVC poles for $15-20. So get an independent mount. That way you can put your trolling motor on spot lock and you can use it on the side of your boat. The only issue with that comes into play is if you want to chase crappie, if you want to chase schools, to be able to manage your trolling motor and an independent device is difficult. So, but if you're going to fish brush piles and you're going to use spot lock, you definitely want something that's independent. And I've heard nothing but positive reviews, whether they make their own or they purchase it. It's definitely a great alternative. But it can't, when you're on spot lock, your device is always doing this and it's adjusting to the wind, and well, it doesn't work very well. So I was told
that makes total sense. So, he's got another question there.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm scared of the gun. I was told you for, I don't know. The system hasn't really come over very well. It was a fraction of what the Garmin unit can do, so it hasn't been received very well, I should say, the Lowrance system. Now, I do know that based after the last 2 shows that I've been at, that there's a lot of word going on right now about Humminbird coming out. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but a lot of people are talking about October for Hummingbird's version. But who knows? So,
well, you definitely got some good questions coming in here. So,
no, this is an excellent question. So I don't know. So this is absolutely the truth. This question is awesome. Does the $200 rebate mean a new generation 2 is coming? Because the reality is, it is so popular right now that is there really a need for a rebate? I mean, these guys, people are buying it. I mean, every day, I mean, just crazy, right? And they would have another year of this for sure. But then all of a sudden this rebate comes out and everybody's kind of like, why? So then it starts to make you think, is there another generation coming out? Is it because of Humminbird coming out? You know, let's get as many people aboard as possible. Is it to sell, so there's a lot of people talking about that as well. This is the first rebate we've seen coming off this unit. And to be honest with you, if something wasn't around the corner, I don't know if there's a need for it. So that's just me speaking from my heart. I don't know why, but I thought it was interesting too. And that's a great question.
That's typically what you see. I know anytime Lowrance starts running a fat rebait, they're getting ready to try to move some product and make way for some new stuff.
Sean was saying that's what he's seen on Facebook already, so I'm sure that's probably a pretty good tail sign there. So, all right.
Yeah, I bet it's like you said. I'm sure they're having no problem moving units. It's such a nice technology. Did you ever have? Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you. So there's the LiveScope is the most recent, and then prior to that, there was another version of that, wasn't there? Was it always LiveScope, or was it something else before that? Panoptics. I'm thinking of Panoptics.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Did you ever have Panoptics at all?
I saw it on YouTube. So I was watching somebody else going off Panoptics, and I never got interested in it. It never made sense because there were blobs moving around the screen opposed to actual fish. But when LiveScope came up, that's kind of what made me feel I got attracted to that. So, yeah, I would say that the Lowrance live site is more in tune with that versus the LiveScope. So. I missed that question if I'm supposed to read that question, but
sorry, I got a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, he's like an octopus back here.
Yeah. I mean, $2,500 to $3,000. I always say that if you want to get into LiveScope, it's going to cost you $3,000. But the reality is now you can get in as low as $1,800 if you go with that 9-inch screen and that $200 rebate. But I firm believer in a 10-inch screen. So I now have the 1042 or the 1022. And so, and why I believe in the knob on it is that it really makes it easy and quick to do 4 new changes. So what you have to do on the 9-inch screen is you have to hit this little button and keep going. Whereas I can go up to the knob and just go quick, and I'm done. I'm there. So a lot of guys that have been on guide trips with me have the 9-inch units. And I'll tell you what, 90% of them are upgrading to the 10 or the 12-inch. So, but isn't that the case with all electronics, to be honest with you? When you have a Hummingbird or whatever, everybody wants the bigger screen. Eventually they upgrade. So I always tell everybody, just buy whatever you can afford and get the biggest screen possible. And the 1022 is essentially $1,000. And it's a nice unit. Everybody, a lot of people get the 1022. That's a good unit. So. Lowrance is up.
Just wanted to.
Oh, I lost your audio. There you are.
So Matt, have you been fishing just Egypt exclusively, or have you ventured over to some other lakes in the area?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been able to do the guide trips have kept my boat on the lake, and I haven't had the time to be able to yank it off and go experience another lake. And that's a good and bad problem, because I would love to go fish crab right now. I'd love to go fish Wren Lake. Wren Lake's reputation for the last 3 months has been, the best lake in Southern Illinois. But I haven't. The guide trips, if to take my boat on and off is difficult. So I just assume keep it there and wait for the next guide trip. Plus I have to pre-fish. I always pre-fish before a guide trip. And so it's not just about the one day. I'm usually out there the day before to make sure I know what we're going to do.
So I got one more question for you. Let's just kind of do a scenario. So you're pulling in a cove, and say you've got 4 or 5 brush piles in different locations and different depths. How would you go about searching for fish in that given cove? What's your process?
Well, with LiveScope, it's definitely the game of the game. So before I would have gone and think about how deep the brush piles are. So before I would have gone on what season I was at and where the fish are holding. So right now are holding at anywhere between 8 and 12 foot. I know that's the sweet spot. So I would be hitting brush piles that we're allowing those fish to be on the brush pile, but within that range. But now with LiveScope, to be honest with you, I can go in and I can sweep at that 70-foot mark, and I can find out exactly where the fish are. So if I have 4 or 5 in a cove, I'm sweeping them real quick, finding out where the fish are, and then I'm making my decision based off of that. But before pre-LiveScope, it was always based on what I was experiencing the day before. If fish are at 6 foot, I'm going to the shallower brush piles. But I tell everybody this, is that if you're going to go to a lake that you don't know, if you're going to go to Lake of Egypt, you're going to go to anywhere, go to the main points on the lake and just start working your way out and find out where your marks are. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. If you have side imaging, obviously now you can scan them and try to find some structure and then work. But I always say work yourself out. That's what we do. So, and we do that on guide trips. Usually I have an idea though, because I've been there so much, and the day before is usually I always pre-fish before a guide trip. I want to give them the best experience possible.
So if I send Gabe over there, like let's just say in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you take him on a guided trip, let him show you his good spots, and the very next week and I'll go with you and you can just show me where those are at.
I know where a couple of them are at.
You know,
that's some good. It's amazing though how those brush piles reload like they do. Or of course you're releasing a lot of your fish, which makes a big difference.
I release all of my fish. I never keep a fish, and but during the guide trips, that's part of the deal. They keep their fish. They want fish. They want to eat fish. They don't have it like. But I always release them. But they do reload. It's a good point, because within an hour you can usually hit back on a pile, and they'll be back there. Even with schooling fish, it's interesting. They will school around a pile, and then they'll move away, get scattered a little bit, but they always come back. Even if you just sit there off the pile a little bit, all of a sudden you're like, oh, here they come, and they start coming back. It's like a flock of birds, and they come and they sit right on top. It's the coolest thing. So this is the first winter we've had LiveScope. So we're experiencing. I can tell you the difference between this year and last year. Last year was hot and cold. You can go out there, you can crush it and feel like you're the best fisherman in the world. The next day you go out there and you catch 1 or 2 fish. This year, every day we feel good about fishing. Our worst days this year is we're catching a lot of fish. So, and then I would like to address this question, because some people are going to say it, is it going to hurt the population in the lake? And I say, absolutely not. Those are people that are talking that haven't seen what live scopers are seeing. That is that we're only affecting maybe 2% of the fish on brush piles. When you see these schools, Gabe, you would be blown away how big they are. Like, there's no way we will ever affect, not in our lifetimes for sure, and not in our kids' lifetimes, the population of crappie. The way that they spawn, the way that they grow. I tell people that it's amazing how many fish are in this lake. And so rest assured that no matter how many people, everyone go out there and they catch their limit and we're good. At least in Lake of Egypt, and that's the one I've experienced the most. But I'm very confident in saying that I've never seen schools this big in my life. We had a school one time, and this is no joke. It could have been a stadium of crappie, and we stayed on that crappie on that school the entire day, and we were all saying there's no way you can touch the population of crappie. And that was in Lake of Egypt, and that's in 40 foot of water, and it went forever. And they don't. People think that if you with LiveScope, you notice real quick that you can drop in, and some days it's like a breadcrumb in an aquarium where fish are really aggressive. But reality is no, man. It's like a small percentage will bite your bait. And you imagine now a stadium full of crappie. I mean, just stacked in there, and only a fraction of them are biting. And it's frustrating. You stay on piles longer, you stay with schools longer, and we leave schools because big, huge schools, let's go somewhere else. And you'll go to another school, and that school happens to be eating a little bit more than that school for whatever reason. We don't know why, obviously, but it's cool. It's exciting stuff because you're seeing it live. So,
yeah, that's awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah, I seen somebody up there, Joanne, had put on their Wren Lakes the same way, and I probably have to agree with them. You see a ton of crappie there, along with white bass too. I think that's another issue there, though.
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of guide trips with guys who've been fishing the Wren Lake, and they say the same thing. They say it's unbelievable how many fish are there. I think it's good for the population, to be honest with you. I think overpopulated, the fish get smaller, and no concerns whatsoever on this end. Yeah, crappie definitely can overtake a lake if you don't. I don't know the story on Crab Orchard. I just haven't. That's actually the lake that I learned about crappie fishing on. But it's interesting at Orchard, you can go and catch 1 million small fish And now there's no limit on size. There's no limit on quantity. Go in there and catch as many fish as you possibly can. I don't think you're going to ever hurt the population of crappie on Crab Orchard. So
bass eat a lot of crappie too. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's a pretty good food source. Do you see a lot of bass? So you can tell the difference between bass and crappie in your life, though, right?
Well, no,
you see them kind of cruising around.
Well, I thought what you're going to go at is that I love it when I'm catching a small crappie, especially at Crab Orchard. I'll see a bass following it. I mean, that is just and cedar as well. I've seen it there, but it's hilarious to watch the bass feeding on crappie and when we're catching one. But I can tell a difference because you're consistent with your forward view. The difference between a bass, a crappie, and bluegill for the most part. If you got a big bluegill, it's a little bit more difficult. But crappie have a round, and really LiveScope is really defined. I mean, you've got it really tuned in. You can see the hump of a crappie. Bass are long and narrow. Obviously, catfish are the same, so I can pick them out pretty quick. But yeah, so
that's pretty interesting. I didn't think it'd be that dialed in to where you could actually tell the difference between them. I figured you could see the size difference, but I didn't actually think you'd be able to see, like you said, the hump behind their head. That's holy.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yeah, without a doubt.
It was kind of a lay down, and there was a shadow underneath the lay down, and you couldn't really see fish underneath the lay down. But as soon as you dropped your minnow down, you could see them kind of drift up from underneath that lay down. Right. That just blew me away. It just the detail is unbelievable. I mean, I was bound and determined to save up $3,000 and buy one, but now I got a new boat, so I'm working on that.
I know. I like watching your content. That's awesome to watch what you were doing with the switch and everything.
Oh yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, I got
really cool.
I thought, well, if I'm doing this, I might as well make some videos out of it. It might help somebody down the road. It's a process though. I'm doing the wiring now, and man, it's a headache. It's just running wires to switches back and forth. And I've got some switches up front and switches in the back, and I want them to work some of the same components. So you've got to double wire everything, and you got to really think about it before you do it. You'll do it. You mess something up. So it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
There's my man Victor.
What's up, Victor?
Victor's an awesome dude. He went on a guide trip in the springtime, and my favorite story about Victor is that we never got really out of the cove, and within the first 10 minutes, I think we had 10 fish in the boat, and they were big. And he's sending pictures. So I love Victor. He's a good dude. We had a great day. We started. That's one of those guide trips you love because they start off on fire. I mean, we didn't even start up the big motor. We just kind of trolled right over to the docks, and before you know it, we're like throwing up against the riprap, and before you knew it, we had a lot of big fish in the boat. So he's a good dude. There was something I was going to touch on. Oh, it's interesting about YouTube creators. We all are, and we all spend a lot of time editing film, and that's what I was doing prior to you guys calling in. And it's interesting. We have to fish, we have to edit, and then at the same time, we're sharing obviously our passion for the sport that we're doing. So, do you guys have a lot of content and videos? Do you store it up? How do you guys go about? Are you essentially filming, editing, posting, and now you're waiting for your next experience out on the water? Because like you said, you're working on your boat. I figured that's an easy one because you can go out to your garage and film, and I don't know, just talk about the YouTubing, the creator type of situation.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll key off right here. So I started back in, I guess it was late June or August, somewhere around there. So I've been doing it a whole long time. Now starting off, I did like 3 videos a week, plus started the live stream, and that quickly came to an end. There's just no way you can keep up with that. I mean, I had nothing stored up going into late fall. I was doing it week by week by week. Now it's like I've had nothing saved up. So the winter has been a really, really tough struggle for me because I constantly have to find something every single week. and I still do 2 videos a week plus a live stream on Monday nights. So it's extremely hard right now. Now, once I get into about a month from now and the fishing starts up, then I'll be able to start saving some stuff up.
Right.
And when I first started, I even told Gabe, I didn't even know you could save videos on YouTube. It's private. I thought you could only have one at a time, and that was it. And you had to schedule it and set it up before you could put another one up. I didn't realize that. So now that I know that, I can put a lot more up there. So hopefully this next year will be a little bit easier on me.
You had a really crappy computer too. You had a really bad computer for, he's upgraded since, and it's made a world of difference.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I showed Gabe, and I told people all the time, I'm like, it takes me a long time to edit videos and stuff like that. And people really didn't understand. And I showed Gabe one night when he was up here after a live stream, and I loaded it was like a 2 or 3 minute video. The problem was when I go to edit it, my sound would play fine and go all the way through. My video was still lagging back here at the beginning. So if I tried to cut it anywhere, I had no idea where my sound was at. So it made it extremely hard. Like I said, I finally upgraded the computer. Definitely got a better camera. I had a cheap camera that the noise or the audio was just horrible on. So upgraded everything. It's been a whole lot easier now, but still struggling a little bit through the winter, but we'll get there. We've only got another month and a half, and I think we'll be hitting it pretty hard.
But this is your first year, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I've only been doing it about 6 months now.
You're learning. So what I've learned is that you have to be ahead of the curve. You have to be ahead of the spawn. You have to be ahead of all these time changes. At least for crappie fishing, there's the winter fishing. There's this, pre-spawn, then there's post-spawn. So you really have to be thinking like a month and ahead of what's about to happen, because it will be on you so quick. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't have any content for. So how about you, Gabe?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. That's a great question, because the day that I went with you, you asked me a similar question, and I had one video on the shelf maybe, and the rest was a hustle to get the next video out. But since then, I've been really diligent about having a backlog. I'll have 3 to 5 videos done, and then I'll have the content for several more. And I kind of got that idea from you. You kind of clued me in on that. Like right now, I've been trying to dump. I typically dump on Wednesdays and Saturdays, or post on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but I've been doing a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday because I've got an excess of backlog stuff, and I'm trying to get it out before it's irrelevant. Kind of like what you're talking. I've got some winter fishing stuff that I need to get rid of. I've got some boat mod stuff, and then I try to go fishing once a week, so I'll have some actual on the water fishing footage video. Right. So I try to do like a tips and techniques, and then a real an on the water fishing video at least once a week. But I'm trying to clear that out and get all. And you know how long it takes to do a video. It's very time consuming. A lot of people don't realize that until you start doing editing videos. It takes I was talking to a guy today about this. I don't know, a 15-minute video can easily take 5 hours from the time you put your card into your computer, get all your clips, render it, and then post it on YouTube and put all your tags and your descriptions. It's very easily could take you 5 hours, or that's what it takes me. So it's very time consuming. So yeah, I've got several in the backlog, and I'm trying to move them out and make room for new stuff.
Yeah, and this comment right here just goes to show, why with Fish says he likes to post a comment that's relative to the season that we're in or approaching. You don't like to see summer content in the winter. So that's that's very true, exactly what you just said. And I think, between Gabe and I look at a lot of other people's content that they have on their videos and stuff like that. And like you said earlier, it does seem like a lot of guys out there are filming right in the middle of what they're trying to teach or what they're trying to show people. And, I've said it for a long time. People think the spawn is, at this certain degree of water temperature or whatever, but they don't realize that stuff happens long before that most of the time. Like right now, my fish are setting in, a pond in my backyard, and that water was probably in the mid 30s. But we had that one day that was warm, and I bet it reached up almost to the 50s. Probably the mid 50s. Right. So those fish get turned on pretty quick. So, people don't realize that, a couple hours north or south will make a huge difference in water temperature and fishing. So
yeah, and the spawn is it's a lengthy period of time. It's not just it's not just when that fish is on the bed. You know, it's the months leading up to that. It's the pre-spawn. It's kind of starting right now. You know, they've got eggs in them. They're feeding up. They're waiting on the length of day to get right and the water temperature. But I think the photo period is just as important as the water temperature. And they'll start making their way migrating back to where they're going to spawn. So it's essentially from, in my mind, it's like late February all the way through late May and maybe June is kind of like right now we're in pre-spawn period, you know, is what I'm thinking. But it's a long drawn out process. Now the fish get real stupid about April, you know, that's like go down the bank with a spinnerbait and a crankbait or whatever, just catch fish. And that's when that first group of fish has started moving up. They're really, really aggressive. So that's what people mainly associate with the spawn, but it's just one part of the spawn. Is that kind of how crappie is too? Do they have the same kind of deal?
Absolutely. I mean, right now we would say that our fish are in pre-spawn. I mean, that's how we would define it. And I've noticed the last week we've caught 3 2-pounders. We didn't catch any other 2-pounders this winter. Came close, but I mean, I'll tell you, the fishing has gotten better in the last week. So I know something's happening. Now I look at the water temperature. I focus more on the water temperature, and the water temperature hasn't moved that much, but I'm always focused on the weather. Like you said, there's a spike at 60 degrees that one particular weekend. I think it was it last weekend? And I thought things could change because of that a little bit. But if you look at the weather the next 2 weeks, I think we have a spike up to 50 one more time at the very end of it. I'm focusing on weather, on temperatures. When it hits 60, that's when I'm really getting excited. But, you know, my goal this week is to go out and find new spots off the main lake, things that I can focus in on during tournament season next in March. And so I'm going to look for big fish. And I can tell you the fish have gotten bigger, and I'm excited about it. So it's really, it's got me fired up. But back to being a YouTuber, because I'm a YouTuber. So I've got a bunch of videos up on the shelf. I always keep a bunch of videos on the shelf. And I always tell people that if they want to be a YouTuber, they want to film themselves, to be passionate, they have to be passionate about editing, because that is anybody can go out there with a camera and film themselves fish. But boy, when they get back and they download it in their computer, most people will look at it and they'll go, what do I do now? I don't want to do it. And then they'll call their wife over and they'll say, hey, could you, figure this out and post this for me? So I'm wanting to do a series of videos on teaching people, what do you do if you want to film yourself, if you want to become a YouTuber, that type of thing. Because I think there's just as many questions about that there is about the fishing. People are always asking me about what camera I'm using. People are always asking about what editing filmware I'm using. And but I start off by saying you have to be passionate about it. I've moved my office. I'm in my office right now, but typically this computer is up in the dining room so that I can enjoy my family while I'm editing. So it's not like I go into the dungeon downstairs all the time. So I always tell people, and like you said, I might fish for 3 or 4 hours, but I'm up there editing for probably about the same amount of time to get the content that I want. So that's it.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man. The thing with me that comes to mind about doing the YouTube stuff is, first of all, getting comfortable talking to a camera, because
you feel like an idiot doing it.
Yeah, and fishing is kind of meditative for a lot of us. We go out and it's a quiet place and we kind of collect our thoughts or get away from the world. And so you're not used to actually talking unless you're with a buddy. But I fish by myself quite often, so it's taken me a while to actually talk to the camera, explain what you're doing in real time. Because one thing I've learned, and I've kicked myself in the butt a million times for doing this, is a situation occurs that is really neat, or it would make good footage, and you just let it slide. You don't capture that moment. And then when you get home, you're like, man, I should have just taken 2 minutes to get that shot, or to talk about how I caught that fish, or a flock of geese flies by. I should have just grabbed that handheld and just covered it. And and you don't. So those are the things that you have to kind of practice, just putting out a little bit of effort to capture that moment.
Oh yeah. And one thing I'd throw in there too, you talked earlier about it. It's, constantly evolving and stuff. And that's the one thing I think that Gabe and I have really noticed since we started doing live streams is how much stuff is out there and how much little people are doing it. Right. We threw this idea out there about doing, like a guest appearance like this or whatever. We looked, I looked for a ton of programs, but everything out there, you had to pay a fortune for, or pay like $10 or $20 a month and this and that.
Right.
Luckily we found this one. It was actually free. We got a watermark on it, but we don't care about that. But it's, it's little things like this that are going to keep YouTube, I guess, not YouTube itself, but keep
creators
going, yeah, and keep them above and beyond the other ones, rather than, like you said, just some guy going out there filming himself fishing and then handing it off to his wife to do.
Yeah, and it's great because we're talking to you. You're an hour and some change away, but yet we're able to get.
You got your perfume on again?
Yeah, it's my deodorant, man. I put a bunch of deodorant on. I didn't have a chance to take a shower. I apologize. It's a Brute by Fabergé, but we're able to talk and get real time information from whoever we're speaking to. That's the great thing about technology. It's just it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's always evolving. Like I said, and just like tonight, Gabe brought this mic up for us to use, and it works really, really well. But for whatever reason, when we're doing interviewing you tonight, it's overcasting it, so it's
going to feedback and echo.
We got to mute it every time. So we're definitely going to figure that out, which I have an idea after this, but Gabe and I are going to have to talk about it afterwards.
So I've noticed you doing that, and I appreciate it. So you just did it again. And so I can hear that feedback when it was there, and that was really hard at the beginning. So just some feedback. When you do mute it, it sounds perfect on my end now. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I had everybody in the comments over here like, hey, that sounds like crap. I'm like, I'm trying here. I got a lot of stuff going on here.
All right, guys. Well, I got to go to dinner, and I appreciate it. I really do appreciate both of you for doing this. And I might have to steal the idea of this StreamYard. This is a really good idea. Fantastic. So.
Yeah, Matt, we appreciate you having on. Thanks for taking time out of your evening, and good luck out in the water. We'll stay in touch, man. Maybe we'll get together sometime.
Yep. And like I said, I got all your stuff linked down below if anybody wants to follow you or come over and look at your channel. So everything is down there with your phone number and everything. So they have no problems, so no excuses of getting a hold of you.
All right, thanks, Matt.
All right.
Have a good evening, buddy.
So.
All right, man, we're back. That was fun. That dude's got a lot of knowledge. Like I said earlier, I've been in the boat with him, and it's a really good time. If you've ever wanted to hire a guide and go out and see what they do and catch a lot of fish, check out that Garmin LiveScope stuff. He's the guy, man. I mean, he's real personable, and you will have a fun day. I promise you that.
Yeah. We got to figure something out with the mic. Press some buttons, trying to answer these guys. I was like, man, this is not working.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you guys were patient with that. We got it figured out there towards the end, I guess.
Yeah, I think we could still figure it out. I still got another idea.
Need a foot switch.
Yeah.
So let's go back and see.
We got all kinds
of questions. Okay.
Yeah, I've been kind of combing through a few of them. Hank Snow says, I would love to see that information on editing. I need some serious work to kick my game up a couple of notches. Hank, I can tell you, I think you use the same one, don't you, for more?
No, I use it's made by Magix. Get a hold of me, Hank, on my Facebook page, and I'll show you what I got.
Yeah, I think I've told him I used Fillmore 9, but which I'll be honest, guys, if you're gonna Fillmore 9 will cost you. I don't remember what I paid for it. I really don't. But I mean, there are some smaller ones out there that are free, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference in what you can do with them. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you'll have a little bit more audio files and a few more of like transition things in there, stuff like that. But I mean, as far as starting off, I think I'd start with a free one.
Yeah, I started out with the Movie Maker. It was on Windows 7, and then it transferred to Windows 10 when I did the free upgrade. But the Movie Maker was what I did a lot of my first videos. That's what I started off with. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's a good way to learn.
And it's free.
It's free, sure.
So
hey Nate, I'm sorry we didn't get to your question to ask Matt. Do apologize. It's kind of hard to do the question reading while we were talking real time, but do apologize for that.
So when do crappie spawn before bass? Right, just like the yellow perch, or no? Oh, he's asking if crappie spawn before the
crappie
bass.
spawn before the bass, or just like yellow perch.
I'm trying to think. I think mine do.
They spawn earlier than the bass.
Yeah,
and then the bluegill come in right behind the bass.
I think last year. I'm trying to think of last year, but I think it was almost a month and a half before the bass. Before I started seeing the bass spawning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was pretty early. I want to say around Easter, probably before Easter, somewhere around there.
Let's see. I'm going to scroll back up and see. I see Ronald.
He likes
stupid fish. He might not be on here anymore, but yeah, we all like stupid fish.
Oh, he's still on here. I just seen him comment again.
Stupid fisher.
That's got to be the best comment of the night, right there, though.
I like stupid fish. That's a T-shirt right there, man. I might have to incorporate that, Ron.
So, relative. I think we went through most of these. So, Dalton says, "I'm ready to slay some crappie, Greg." Man, we'll do it. I got a pond back here that I don't like crappie being in, so.
So you got some crappie in the pond back there?
Oh yeah. I take them out. I don't like them in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got a good population of crappie in the pond behind my house as well.
And Nate up here says, I didn't know crappie got as big as they do until last year. I caught a 3-pound black crappie. Thought I had the state record here in Maryland.
That's a big crappie,
yeah.
Nate. Man, that's a stud. God, they just. I've caught one that was 18 inches before. I don't know what it weighed, but I'm sure it was 2.5 pounds or something. It looked like a dinner plate, man.
Tom said his was 2.8 on his biggest one.
Man, that's a big one too, Tom. Anything over that 2 pound is pretty nice fish.
So Nate Summers says, what's your guys' PB crappie? I can tell you that mine was probably close. I'm going to say in between 3.5 and 4. It actually was out of my pond.
Good God.
Well, this was before. I didn't even know crappie existed in my pond at this time. When we first got here, the whole pond was extremely overpopulated with bass. I mean, every bass in there was 8 inches. I'd never seen anything bigger.
Huh.
But the bluegill were ginormous. I mean, I'm talking they're huge. I mean, like that tall. The bulls had a big old knot on them. Yeah. And then I was bass fishing, and this was the regular sized brush hog. And that thing inhaled it and was gone. I thought I had a bass on, a big bass. I got it all the way up to the boat. My boys were both with me. We were in a stupid John boat. And this thing just come up to the boat and just laid on its side. And I was in awe at the size of this crappie. And I go like this to go down and get it. And he goes, and spit it right out and just gradually swam off. That was it. I'm like, holy cow. I didn't even care.
The middle fin on the way out.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow. The biggest crappie I've ever seen in my life. But,
jeez.
So he's somewhere in there. He might have died by now. I don't know. It's been about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what my PB is. I'd say somewhere around 2.5. I haven't ever really weighed it.
I think I saw all these.
I saw a comment on there by Levin. He wanted to know what your channel. This is a Back Yard Bassin, it's his channel, and then 3-pound fishing was Matt's channel that we just.
Oh yeah, I think I answered him a while ago.
Okay, good.
Yeah, right here. So I put this up just to make sure everybody knows. Everything is down in the description. So
okay.
Anything you need to ask, anything at all, it is all down there. Let's see here. I think we went through a little of this. Sean says, I tune into a lot of YouTube channels of fishing. I agree with you. It's going to try and teach your viewers a technique or what you should be for the seasons that's here, not far from it. Okay. Yeah, we were touching base with that Matt a while ago.
Yeah, it is good to be just a little bit ahead of the curve.
It's not on my thing. Oh, he was talking about the spawn. Okay.
So, Bassmaster says, I think the thing that can prolong pre-spawn or prevent it is how long the spawn lasts, is the weather. Yeah, it definitely can. It really, we're starting to get into that time of the year where everybody's ready to get out there and start catching those stupid fish. But, I've kind of been paying attention to this the last couple of years. That water in our area will get stuck. It'll linger in that 48 to 49, and then it'll get up in that 42 or 52 to 53. and it'll stay in that temperature range for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It just stays there, and you're like, can we get 56, please? Can we just get 56? But it'll just stay there. Each time you go out, it's stuck there, and you're wanting it to rise, to get those fish to move towards the bank. And
and I'm glad you brought that up. You were just talking about how it stays there in that temperature, which a lot of people don't understand. That's actually pretty good fishing conditions.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a lot of times you're going to go out there and that's like perfect pre-spawn conditions. I mean, those big girls are fattening up. They're getting ready. And that's when a lot of people, they don't like going out there because they're just starting to get used to that kind of that 50, 60 degree weather, or, maybe even touching 70. And then all of a sudden it cools off at like 40s for a week, but the water temperatures still stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when people don't go out, but you should be going out.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to get those big girls really biting. Like I said, the water's stable there, it's fluctuating back and forth, but that's still plenty warm enough for them to be really active.
That's when your fish will start staging. You hear people talk about staging, and basically what that means is if you look in the back of, say the fish are going to spawn in the back of a small cove, and let's just say there's 2 main lake points outside of that cove. When that water temperature is getting in that 50 degree range and the days are getting longer, they're going to move up and stage in that area, and they're going to wait for conditions to change. And then they'll work their way back to the secondary points, and eventually they'll pull off into little cuts and whatever, make it to the back of the cove and spawn. But that, like Greg was saying, that 52, 53 degree water range is when you're going to see those big fish stage up. And they're going to be out a little deeper most of the time. They may slide up if it gets really nice and feed, and then slide back off. But if you can find them, man, you can really load the boat.
Yeah, I can tell you from personal experience plenty of times, just like you said, they'll come up and they'll move back out, once they feed. And that's where a lot of guys, especially fishing tournaments, really mess up during the day, is they want to beat the bank and beat the bank and beat the bank. If they drop back off 20 or 30 feet or even 50 foot and bring that lure back out off the bank, where it's, let's say it's 2 foot on the bank and you got 8 foot out here, start fishing that 8 foot water. That makes a big dang difference.
It's hard to do, man.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
But you wouldn't believe the difference in bites you'll get.
Because a lot of times you'll catch those smaller fish up shallow in that same situation. And you're like, man, okay, surely if I can catch 20 or 30 1.5 pounders, eventually I'm going to run into a 4 or 5 pounder. But a lot of times those fish are sitting out there in that 8 to 10 foot zone. It's just the little fish that are up there. So if you can have enough patience to back off, fish a little bit slower, or fish a crankbait or something deeper, you'll catch some of those bigger fish that are waiting to move up. But it's hard to do, man. I messed up last year doing that.
I did too. Like the old,
I caught them up shallow.
I was being stubborn.
Yep.
I was catching them, but I was being stubborn, and I knew they were underneath the boat, and I knew I just needed to move out, and I still just did not do it. But it cost me. So
yeah, I was pre-fishing for a tournament last year, and 2 days before the tournament, I caught several 4 or 5 pounders on the chatterbait up in about 2 to 4 foot of water in the grass. And tournament day, I covered quite a bit of water. I fished that pattern for about 2 hours, and I was just catching small ones. And I'm thinking, well, let's slow down. So we started fishing slower, still catching smaller fish, and I should have backed out deeper. But I just caught them up so shallow a couple of days prior that I just knew that it was a matter of covering water. But it wasn't. We were sitting around top of them,
yep.
and I knew it too. Just like you said, it, but you still can't do it.
You can't pull the trigger.
And you'll see them too. You'll see them on the grass suspended out there.
Yeah. Tom over here said, I've had the privilege of being able to sit down with an editor while putting together a video for TV hunting and fishing show. Now that I would like to see how it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing a whole lot more editing than we're doing, but I'm sure they get paid a little bit better we do too.
Yeah, there's a lot of tricks that we don't know about with, just getting that. I watched a carp fishing video last night, and I wish I would have wrote down the name of this channel. But man, it was about 22 minutes long, and it was a guy out he stayed in this little rundown cabin on this lake, or it was several lakes, and the cinematography was unbelievable. It had really good mood music. It was all vivid colors, and this guy was carp fishing on the bank, and he was in like England or somewhere over there where carp fishing is quite a bit bigger. But man, that guy did a really good job on that video. I'll send you that link sometime when I find it. It's worth your time, and it's pretty impressive.
So I know I've seen on here somewhere, Tom was talking, the crappie spawn around 55 degrees. So yeah, big about since about right there. Be about April.
Tom says the mic needs some more treble.
Needs some more treble.
We're all about that bass.
Yeah. Don't you sing either. I don't know if you can adjust.
We'll have to mess with it.
Oh, maybe back here. Actually, here, guys, let us know if this makes it any better. It's got a little dial here. I'm not sure if what that's for.
You turned it all the way down now?
I turned it down a little bit, see if that helps it. So I'll have to go down to new comments, make sure. So, guys, let us know real quick if that made it worse, better, or which way it went, or if it did anything at all.
Let's see. DJ says, Gabe, did he see your 10 cash challenge? I don't know, DJ. I don't know. I should have asked him about that.
Oh, on your bluegill?
Yeah, the crappie.
Or
that was a crappie.
Yeah,
that was a crappie.
Yeah, because I asked if you were actually going to count that.
Yeah, that counts, man. That was a cold day. My line was actually freezing. I had little drips of water, like icicles on my line.
Yeah, I know. I've tried it down here a couple times.
Crazy.
You can't. I don't know. I didn't crappie fish or bluegill fish, but I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, Tom says Crab Orchard is mostly a mud lake. Ron, who's on here, fished Crab Orchard last week, and he said it was 38 to 40 degrees, muddy, and just nasty. It just felt dead. You know, I guess that was last week sometime.
I love having people misspell your name or pronounce it.
Dave. Yeah, I've been called Dave. Dave. Aaron finally put an E on the end of my name. That was a nice upgrade. I'll take whatever, man. It's all good. People call me Mel, man.
Change just a little for the better. All right, well, we can go down farther. Like I said, this is kind of new to us, guys, so you have to let us know.
So anybody on here, what's the audio sounding like now? We're trying to get that treble up a little bit. What's up, Nate? Welcome back. We need more tips, videos, Tin Horse Monty. I got one tomorrow I'm dropping for you guys. It's a winter tube fishing. So maybe that'll get you by to the next one. What's up, Moccasin? It's better. He said keep going. So
I think that was as far as it went.
Adjustment?
Yeah, that's as far as it went. So
okay.
It's not going to get much better. We haven't changed anything.
I don't know. Maybe we're just talking more masculine tonight because we had a special guest on here. We're trying to be. Did you
take your steroids where you come?
No, I was thinking maybe we needed to shoot like a little estrogen shot or something before we come in here. Or listen to some Michael Jackson or something. I don't know. Get a swift kick in that, whatever.
When you start growing some man moves.
Yeah, coming here with like 5-inch fingernails.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Here we go. What's up, Nate? Here we go.
Whitewell Fishing says that's why so many PDPs are caught in the winter in so many states.
That's right.
For the staging. Yep, absolutely.
They're full of eggs, man. They're at their heaviest. They're feeding up and they're full of eggs.
Sean says, I think we need to give away that new reel now. Yep. Well, they've got till midnight tonight. That is the deadline. I put that out there, and like I said, we'll see. As soon as we get the final count, I'll make sure I've got everybody on there for midnight. If they come in after that, it'll show up on a timestamp, so I'll know it. So let's see what I don't even know what we're at right now. Let's see here.
So I got a question for you guys that are on here. I'm coming up on 1,000 pretty soon, so I want to do a giveaway as well, just to show appreciation. Give me some suggestions. I'm not giving away a car or boat, but something with unless it's a remote control car. I'm just kind of shooting around, maybe a reel, some baits. What do you guys think, man? Any suggestions on that? I'm up for whatever, you know. I'd like to make it something special because it's a big milestone. I've been working on it for a while.
I did hear the other day somebody said, being we're doing a live stream together, you were supposed to throw in a rod for this reel.
All right. Yeah, I saw that too. Man, I like that idea, but rods are pretty expensive to ship. You know,
yes,
that's the whole deal. I mean, I could have as much in the shipping as I have in the rod. But that's awesome ideal.
Yeah, maybe if we'd have thought about it, maybe planned it out a little bit. Just when you hit your 1,000, I could have hit the 500. Could have done it then.
Yeah. Okay, Bassmaster, he's already won, man. He said get that reel on the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, he's been hitting me up pretty hard.
He's working you hard, man.
Right now, we've got 161 comments on there right now. So, like
Dang.
I said, it ends at midnight. So after that, it's done. So if you're going to comment on it, you better get it done this evening.
Carl says a guided fishing trip. That's a
That'd
good idea. That'd be fun.
It'd be hard for somebody that lived in like Florida or Pennsylvania or something, though. You know,
yeah,
pretty expensive.
Yeah, I like that idea. No moccasin. I'm not giving away one of my spinner baits.
I 100%
top secret,
agree with the spinner bait.
That is top secret.
You know, it's funny because talking about the spinner bait, and I won't throw anything out there about it or nothing like that, but you know, I sent Gabe a picture the other day because we kind of throw it's not the same spinner bait by any means, but it's pretty close, I'd say.
Right.
And that's something that I've thrown for a long time, and it's just I kind of in the same boat. I don't tell many people that for good reason.
No, it's man, honestly, that spinner bait, a lot of it's right here in your head. That's my little baby. And Ron's right. I only have one. Ron hooked me up with a couple though. I'm gonna be throwing them around. I'm not scared to throw that around because mine's about to break. I've caught a lot of. I bet I've caught. Dude, I bet I've seriously caught about 30 in that 4 to 6 pound range on that one spinner bait.
Some of my biggest bites through the winter are all on that pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know how that spinner bait. I've already replaced the skirt on it twice. But that's like it's like made out of, it's not titanium, but it might as well be. I don't know. It's bent and straightened back out and bent. And I'm going to lose. Like me and Ron were talking about this the other day when we were fishing. I'm going to lose a 6 pounder in a tournament on that spinner bait because I'm still fishing it. He says he ties a new A-rig on or a new spinner bait before every tournament. He only has one. That's right. I do, man. I need to make another one. I've got the stuff to make another one. I just haven't done it.
That's not a bad idea right here. I like that.
What's that? Give away a few of your confidence baits. Okay, like a little care package. I like that.
Ooh, I like this one better.
Let's see, Gabe, you hit 1,000. We have to show, dude, man. This, you know what year this beard is? It's like early 90s, man. I've had that. I'll trim it down to here. It's part of me. I'd rather give you my arm, man.
And then it'll never grow back.
Yeah, that'd be it, man. That'd be it.
Gabe said, I need a rod to go with that reel going to win.
Yeah, I know, Robert. I know. I don't know. I'll
okay,
look.
It says $200 gift card to the winner. Get what they want. It's a little bank out there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what 200 is a little steep. Maybe have some coupons in there. How about maybe $100 gift card with some coupons?
What are you going to give us some coupons?
$100 worth of coupons. Yeah. Like buy one, get one free coupons.
Yeah.
So I could throw in some McDonald's gift cards.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's a coupon to Hardee's. Have fun.
Buy one sausage egg biscuit, get one free. That's worth $3 right there, man.
Breakfast on the way to your tournament.
Yeah, I could send you a whole stack full of good stuff.
So Tom says, put together a few mid-range priced glide bait packages, $40 or so price range, S-Wave or Rashi glide, you like.
Okay.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
I'd have to get your opinion on those. I haven't fished a lot of glide baits. I was talking to
the Arashi. I bought the Arashi, but it didn't make it past the first tree.
It's kind of like your A-rig story.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I don't know why the hell I was even throwing this thing walking the bank. That was the stupidest idea ever. But I didn't even know the tree was above me when I went to go cast it. And right up in the truck.
Man.
I mean, there was no getting that thing back.
Did it blow up your reel too or not?
Oh yeah, it was done. Yeah, it was. I cut it.
So you lost the line and
it was an expensive little journey.
Hank can bring some sunshine, dude. You could sell that for a premium price right now. It's like
that ain't no deal.
It's like Seattle around here. We've had 3 or 4 days of sunshine in the last month. It seems like it's ridiculous. We had rain today, and I don't know.
Sean said Tackle Warehouse gift card never hurt nobody.
No, that's true. Tackle Warehouse,
that'd be a good one there.
I mean, man, I always ask for people ask me, what do you want for Christmas? My mom, and it's always it's usually an academy because we have an academy around here. But gift cards are awesome, man. Even Amazon, I have some people on my route that give me I'm a letter carrier, and people give me a gift card to Amazon. So we got some good ideas. We really got some good ideas. $100 worth of Grey Poupon. Man, that's awesome. Can you buy $100 worth of Grey Poupon? Tom says $100 worth of Grey Poupon. I have to go on Wayne's World and ask them dudes. That was classic,
Just
man.
pull up to somebody
I don't know how you'd ship that.
Just pull them next to them in your mail truck and ask them if they have any Grey Poupon.
You have any Grey Poupon? Or do you have $100 worth of Grey Poupon? What you got in that trunk? Nate's wanting to know about that spinnerbait. It ain't nothing, man. It's just an old spinnerbait with a big blade.
Took it out.
Yeah. Did you have your spinnerbait in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You took it out. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I got some good ideas, man. I have to ponder through all those. The tackle warehouse, the Grey Poupon. I don't know. I might do a mix of everything. Like $25 gift card to tackle warehouse, $25 Grey Poupon order.
I will not put in for this.
Dude, how long would it take you to go through
I don't need the
$100
crap, so
of Grey Poupon?
I'll never go through it.
Was it like $3.67 a jar or something?
I don't know. I don't
Never
ever
had
buy it.
No,
I've had it. I just I'm not a horseradish fan at all. So, okay, Bassmaster said if I can get 100 subscribers on my channel, my plan is to give a $150 gift card to Academy. Says I'm trying to grow. That's pretty good.
That's pretty tight.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll. Yeah, that's a nice one.
So,
okay. Sean says he's got $500 in tackle warehouse cards. Dude, that's sweet. Nice. I would love to be sitting on that. I usually the thing is sometimes I'll get a $25 gift card to Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's. Well, it costs like $9.95 for the shipping.
yeah.
So you get like one Whopper Plopper or something.
That's why you go over to Mox and Lures and spend your money.
Yeah.
Spend enough money there, you get free shipping.
That's right, man.
So
that's good stuff too. You can't go wrong with that.
we're at 34 now.
You'll get there.
Yep.
Keep working on it, man.
Yep. It takes a while, man.
It's slow.
Takes some time to grow. It does.
It's slow to that first 500.
You'll have days, or I say days, you'll have weeks that you just don't gain a subscriber. And then all of a sudden you'll gain like 12 or 14 of them on one day. It's really weird. Matter of fact, 3 weeks ago, there was about 4 days there. I was averaging a couple of subscribers a day, and there was about 4 days straight there that I didn't gain a single one. It was really weird. And like the next day after that, I hit like 22 on that day.
Yeah.
And another 10 or 12 the next day. It was really weird. So,
yeah, YouTube's, I don't know exactly what they do, but it's almost like it stalls out. And sometimes you'll lose a subscriber or two, and then the next day you'll get 5 or something like that.
I was actually talking to somebody about that, and they said a lot of that is to do with it's verifying that that's a good channel. If somebody doesn't have any content on their channel and doesn't get on there much, it kind of flags them for a while. So they have to be doing something on their channel, in a certain amount of time. Like, let's just say you wait 3 months to watch videos, and then you go and you like something or subscribe to something, it'll flag them to make sure they're legit.
Yeah.
So I know there was something come out here a while back about YouTube kind of cracking down on that, on the what is it? I don't know how to say it.
Just a non-active account, I guess. It's kind of dormant. Yeah. They
exactly.
you're right. They cleaned out a lot of subscribers on people's channels. So they want something that's got some activity on it.
Yeah. Hank said he's going to do a giveaway himself too when he hits 200. So
we got all kinds of giveaways going on here. Yeah, Sean, you're right. $50 you get free shipping. That's why, I go on there to buy, like a couple packs of Zoom chunks or something. I end up spending $57.
I think Rick's poking you there. I'm not going to say nothing.
Rick says, "What's your favorite Southern Illinois bass lake for a spawn bite?"
I can know mine right away.
Man, you know what? I had a couple really good days on Kincaid last spring. And so I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, what's yours? You got one? No comment right here.
The one with water in it.
The one with water. Okay. There you go, man.
No, I would say for the spawn bite, I'll be honest with you, it's probably Egypt.
Egypt.
And the reason I say Egypt is we always have an early tournament there, and in the past, 10 years, I guess, or whatever, that I've been fishing over there and fishing tournaments over there, I should say, I've always done extremely well there. I mean, I always catch my biggest fish there. I've caught, I don't know how many 5s out of there, 6s, Caught the 7 last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always good for me for a PB to start off the year. So I mean, and that's, you know, once you get past that, you know, once you get past that spawning deal, you know, your fish quality is going to go down a little bit. You're not going to have as big of fish there to catch. So I would say that's probably just my pick there. But
yeah, man, there's
I've been good at Kincaid too, but I hit a lot of, you know, I would say more bedding at Kincaid.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
referring to. A lot of it's fishing a jig up shallow and you're dragging it across beds, and a lot of times you're not even seeing them, but you know that's what's going on.
Right.
You're getting that.
You're
getting that bite and it's moving off, and you miss a lot of them. Sometimes you
know, I use that's one thing. I'm glad you said that. You know, guys always ask me how often I throw a 1/2 ounce jig and how often do I go down to that 3/8 or that, you know, something like that. And that is usually the one time I go down to that lighter jig is dragging across beds, because you'll feel that little bit of pea gravel or that little bit of gravel there dragging through that mud to find beds. It's not easy to do, but once you get a feel for it, you'll feel it every time. You'll know what you're feeling.
That's great. That's awesome, man. Once you get really in tune, you know,
and I'm telling you, once you do it a couple times, after that, you'll be like looking like, I mean, you're not even going to want to pay attention to where you're over here. You're just going to drag it and you're going to feel it immediately. And you can tell when you're on that bed and when it's coming out over it.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit to learn, but it's well worth it. I'll say that.
Then you have to go through all those whiffs, you know, where that bass is just grabbing that trailer and you're like, man, he's got it. I'm on jacking and nothing. Like, come on, man, what's going on?
1/2 ounce jig or something flying back at your head.
Yeah. Or you get you got no pinchers on your trailer when you get back. Man, that happens so much. It's so frustrating. You can even set like into the fish, like they're going that way. You set this way, you know, you're like, maybe I'll get them in the eye or something, and you just don't. So
Ronald said, I'm glad no one mentioned crab. Nobody cares about crab,
man.
But it's got some
toads in there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I even told Gabe, this has been a while back. I missed probably my biggest fish of my life there on a stupid frog. And actually, I didn't miss it. It missed me. I was fishing a frog over there, and the fish come up behind it. I mean, clearly out of the water, and just completely missed the frog by like 6 inches. I don't know how he did it. It was just stupidest thing. But, yeah, that was a little bit of a heartache. But
Sean says use your shorter trailer. That's a great tip, Sean.
Yep.
That's a great tip. Yep. At a jig, sometimes in that situation, a jig works better than an actual
very compact jig.
Right, a very compact jig, like a finesse jig or something, like, you know, what the Moccasin has, that little 5/16, 3/16, something like that. Yeah. It's a good little jig. I'm looking forward to putting some hours on that thing here real soon. I've already thrown it around quite a bit. I like it. It's a good little jig, man.
Honestly, got 1173 there 2 years ago. Holy crap!
You were telling me about that, Ron. He told me the story. If you guys don't know, Ron's the guy that's in my my most recent post on Little Grassy. He was the guy I was fishing with.
He's the guy that didn't fall off coolers.
Not yet. Not yet.
Give him time.
Right. But he was telling me a story about he was fishing that Harkins tournament, and the Harkins is a 4-man tournament they have. It's an annual tournament that they have on. I think it's on Crab Orchard all the time, and it's got a lot of tradition. I think it's been going on for like 50 years or something. But it's a 4-man tournament, so you have 2 teams in 2 boats, and they were fishing one area, and they could hear all this hooping and hollering, just guys like, yeah, you know, they obviously caught something. And then just a few minutes later, they hear all that hooping and hollering again. Come to find out, and Ron knows this story better than me, but a guy caught, I want to say like a 10 off of a stump on this point, and that was the first round of excitement. And then 5 minutes later, he catches another 10 off that same stump, and that was the second round of excitement. So the guy had 20 pounds and 2 fish. Ended up, I think he only caught 1 more fish. He caught it like a
who cares
pound
about
and a halfer, but he won the 2-day tournament or something. It's some crazy story like that.
Hey guys, I'm going to put this one up there. Dave, this is so on point. Weekly topics and videos will keep a following of true subs. That could not be any truer. There's a lot of guys that you're going to see, and you guys are throwing out there, and I've learned my lesson a little bit with it too. with the giveaways, it's great to do with your true subs, but you're going to drag a lot of trash in there with it too. I can tell you. There's a lot of guys on there that I see, they'll come sub to my channel, and then all of a sudden I start seeing them go down, and I know they follow me on Instagram, and all of a sudden they're not following me on Instagram. So that's a telltale
sign
yes.
of right. Yeah, man, you guys that are on here, we see you all the time. We really appreciate it. We're getting to know you guys a lot better. Ron says that was on Grassy. So Little Grassy, not a crab orchard. But the story I think was fairly accurate. So 2 10-pounders off of one stump. I'm sure this was in the spring.
Now this is a story I hear a lot. So we once spent an hour trying to catch a bass on a bed with table rock, watching it pick up or bait and carry it off to the bed, and never could get a hook in it. That is, like we were saying earlier about, downsizing that trailer will help a lot. Going with a smaller, like the Ned rig, that will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
One thing I can tell you that I've tried a couple different times is a lot of times I look for, when I'm bed fishing, I'm going with that smaller compact jig or a smaller crawl, something like that. But you can actually take that thing and hook it backwards, and they'll grab that tail first a lot. So if you got the hook backwards, will help out too, because they'll try to get at the tail first. But
now you were talking about table rock. Can't remember who this was. This is several years ago. They were fishing a tournament, and this guy was going behind Jason Christie. I think he was
Christie IE or why?
The real Jason Christie.
Oh, okay.
The legitimate Jason Christie. I don't know the other one either, but I've just heard a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on that. Mama said,
you
got nothing good to say.
You don't want to get sued?
No. I don't want to get sued.
Sued for slander.
Shout out to Luke Duncan. What's up?
Yeah,
this guy was.
He still needs to get on the show yet.
Yeah, we're trying to get Luke Duncan on here.
Yeah.
Greg's been working hard on him. Greg's been really.
I'll just keep pounding at his door. Eventually, he'll give up and go down. So
that'd be something, man. That'd be something. You never know.
He's a good dude. I like his. And if you guys haven't checked out his podcast or even his YouTube channel too, they're well worth the watch. And that's a guy that just has no care on really I say no care. He doesn't care about whose feelings he hurts.
Right.
On either side. And he approaches both sides equally, in my opinion, and gives a very, very good opinion on both sides.
Yeah, I listened to the one he had on there today.
I haven't heard that one yet. So
yeah, he had David Dudley on there.
That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty good. They got a little bit risky.
I'm sure they do.
You'll know when you hear it. You're like, oh, you kind of get a little bit squirmy. They get out there and he tries to finesse it back around. So,
did you watch his video with his the guy that bought his boat?
Luke Duncan or
Luke Duncan?
No,
somebody bought Luke Duncan's boat.
Okay.
He's a guy from overseas. He was stationed overseas. He's in the Army. Pretty much wrote Luke Duncan a note, said, "Hey man, I'd really like to buy your boat. I'll mail you a check and for down payment until I get back." So the guy got back, but I won't run for you guys. But he does give Luke Duncan something, and I'll tell you, it's pretty touching. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So this is on his YouTube channel?
It's on his YouTube channel. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen.
So
that.
it's the Traveling Circus is his YouTube channel. Luke Duncan's Traveling Circus.
Right. I've watched several of his stuff. I just haven't seen anything.
But it's definitely worth the watch. So you'll get a little bit more know of how Luke Duncan is.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty.
So he's responsible for getting Luke Duncan on here. So if Luke Duncan does not come on our live stream, it's all him. Yeah. I'm working on some other folks.
He said he was going to get Scott Martin or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, you can't even get a hold of Scott Martin. I know.
Moccasin was preaching up Scott Martin at the expo.
Really?
Yeah, I got pictures to prove it too.
Wow.
I think White Wells put him up there, if I remember correctly.
I got a buddy of mine that lives here in this area, and he was wanting to buy Scott Martin's Ranger from him. And he kept trying to get a hold of Scott Martin, and Scott never would return his call. So that's how hard he is to get a hold of. Like, you're wanting to buy a $70,000 Ranger from him, and he still won't call you back,
Yeah.
So.
In white whale fishing right here, I'll put this up here. Not that one. This one. This is what I was telling you guys. And even White Whale said it got a little dusty in his house when he was watching it. I'm telling you, it's well worth the watch. So
I'll have to watch that for sure.
Yeah,
I saw something with him and Gerald Swindle. It was
that was good too.
Aluminum boat or small.
That's
boat
his new gig. It's let's see, Boats and Pros.
Boats and Pros.
So They go out on the boat and kind of talk about, what Gerald Swindle grew up and how he got into fishing and what it was like when he was younger and this and that. And it's a really good show. So it was well worth it. I was pretty impressed with it. So I look forward to the next one. I think he said the next one he's going to have crap. I'll have to let me look here. He messaged me back on it. Let me see. You can move on to the next one.
Who's Sean? Let me scroll this up
Yeah,
real quick. Sean was talking about somebody not doing good on Eufaula. And so I get back up there. It's a little bit tricky. I want to mess this up. Okay. Well, okay. Nate says how many acres is Little Grassy? So Ron answered that. It's about 1,000 acres. It fishes pretty big though. It's a neat little lake. If you go to Grassy, you do have to get the crab orchard permit, or you can get a daily tag for, I think it's $2. And Sean went fishing for 2 days and catch a fish. It's tough right now, Sean. Yeah, Luke just tells the truth, man. I enjoy listening to him. I mean, some of the first stuff I listened to was, well, actually back when he had that real controversial podcast when he was talking about Major League Fishing and the BPT tour and stuff, and kind of telling it like a lot of people were thinking.
Just didn't have the oomph to say it.
Yeah, and you know, he it was pretty controversial. You know, the CEO or whatever kind of halfway tried to get him in trouble. There was a lot of drama there or whatever, but that's when I started watching or listening to his podcast. I'd already watched the Traveling Circus a little bit, you know, back when he was actually fishing the tour. He's been doing that for a couple years, and it's a fun watch if you get some time to go back and check that out. You know what I like watching now? Mikey Balls. You ever watch him?
No, I haven't.
I'm sure you guys.
Somebody else told me
Mikey
about
Balls.
watching him. I just haven't done it.
I've watched him for about a year and a half or so, but kind of off and on. But his last 4, 5, or 6 videos have been really well done. The editing has been really. It's a good mix of chesty, pole cam, hand cam, music. He's really got a good formula going right now.
You know, and just to tell you about how Luke really is, you know, we were talking back and forth, and I told him, I said that was a really good show with him and Gerald Swindle and this and that. I said it'd be interesting to go fishing with them guys at the same time. He just told me, he said, yeah, we get bored sometimes too, especially G because he's old as dirt. So that's Luke for you. I'm trying to find the other comment. You guys blowing up my thing with 160 something comments has pushed everything way down there. I don't even know where it's at anymore. That
probably a good podcast to start out with. If you go to Low Budget Live, which is his podcast, Luke's on his podcast, is the one where Gerald Swindle is on there. It's probably 2 months ago, something like that, month and a half. But that's a really good one. And I like the one with Andrew Upshaw on there too. He's got a ton of good ones. They're all
now when he had Spoyer on there.
Yeah. But you need to go back and listen.
Yeah.
Pre that to get the whole context. Yeah. Because it's definitely
because you're going to make you'll make a decision on him real quick on whether or not you're going to like him with that video. And I would suggest going, like you said, go back before then and watch. Don't do it from right there.
Yeah, he's scored. You know, and Dudley, we're talking about Dudley. Dudley's opinionated.
Oh yeah,
like
very.
Yeah, he will. Dudley's a thinker. I mean, I'm sure all those guys are thinker, but you can tell he just sits around and tinkers with stuff and plays with stuff and comes up with different hacks.
Still trying to think of who that was he's supposed to have on there next. It's a younger guy. Who it was.
I don't know. I can't remember.
It's not Colin or nothing. It's
he had a guy on there today who is gosh, I cannot remember. He's 22 years old. He won. Man, I can't remember the backstory. Shouldn't have brought it up. But it's a younger guy. This might be who you were talking about. He had Dudley on there, and he had another guy on there today. And I do not remember the guy's
this
name.
is for his Boats and Pros.
Oh, his Boats and Pros.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Moccasin says Mikey puts out some amazing content.
Tom said he won a boat for a YouTube contest for best streams editing content. I'm going to check him out then. I haven't seen his
That
stuff.
makes sense. He's really good, man. I've been paying attention. I've been trying to incorporate some of what he does. I like Chris Haldane does a few I think that's who that is. I was watching some of his stuff. Anyway, we're talking about YouTubing and editing and all this stuff. So when I shoot my videos, I have a pole cam behind me, and then I have a handheld that I just have laying in the boat. For instance, if I'm fishing with somebody, when they catch a fish, I'm going for that handheld and trying to get some close-up footage and stuff. But Mikey Balls is really good about incorporating that pole cam and the handheld and the chesty, and he goes back in between those 2 or 3 camera angles
all at the same time.
Well, they fade in, but if you do it right, so basically, let's say that somebody's pulling a fish out of the water and you're catching it on the pole cam. When it gets to this point right here, you can fade in the handheld, which is up closer, and the fish is still right in this, and then you can go back to the pole. So the object is moving through the frame at the same rate, but you're going back and forth between the 2 cameras. So it seems almost seamless. There's an art to it. That's kind of what I've been working on a little bit. I did a little bit in that grassy video, man.
I've got that other GoPro now, but I got to figure out the issue with it. So.
It's fun, man. It's really fun. It takes a lot of time. You got to spread that clip right out and then fade it, just right. And
that one's demolishing SD cards.
That's not good.
No, it's went through 2 already, and I can't even use them on my GoPro now.
Oh man.
So I don't know what to do with it now yet.
Yeah.
So I got to look up some stuff and see if I can figure it out.
It was
not that GoPro.
Chuck says it was Cody Huff. That's who I was thinking of, Chuck. Thanks, man. Yeah, he's from Ava. Cody Huff is from Ava, Missouri. He's 22 years old.
Missouri?
Yes, hometown of Rick Clunn.
Huh.
And he talks about Rick Clunn. He actually had a great story. The way he met Rick Clunn was Cody was fishing a tournament, or he had just launched his boat, and Rick Clunn launched his boat with his younger son, River, I believe is his name, and he didn't know it was Rick Clunn. So River's really young, he's on the trolling motor trying to get up to the dock, and he got just a little bit, basically he should have got a little closer before he tried to step out of the boat, and he kind of got spread out. The boat's drifting, his legs on the dock, and he fell in the water. And Cody basically went over there and pulled him up out of the water, and that was Rick Clunn's son. So that's how he met Rick Clunn, and they've been friends ever since. So he's got that same kind of calm, collective manner as Rick Clunn.
Yeah.
He's up and coming, and you're probably gonna.
That's who you can get on. You can get Rick Clunn on the show.
Yeah, Rick Clunn. Dude, I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like, Sensei, tell me your secrets.
Tell me how to throw a spinnerbait.
Yeah. He can get out there.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. So
remember Mikey GoPro on his shoulder. It was a long time ago when I caught his 10-pounders. His edits are dope though.
Yeah, that's right, Nate. He's the first guy I saw that had like a 14-foot pole with a cam on top of it. There's I think it's that video where he's throwing like a 10XD and he catches like a 40-pound bag or something. You need to look that up. He had an epic day. I've
just heard stories about Mikey Balls, but the thing is when people said Mikey Balls, I was automatically thinking of this other guy that was on, I don't remember whose channel he was on, but the guy was just really, really out there. I mean, he was way out there, and that's who I thought it was, but it's not. So
no, Mikey Balls he's a fast talker and he's moving. He's a little bit nerpy, but once you get into it, it's a good channel. But he had that one day where he was throwing that big old crankbait, and it was 40-something pounds, but he had that like a 10 or 14-foot pole cam.
California?
Well, he's been at Guntersville. Originally, I think he was from the Florida area. A lot of his footage is from down there. So he's got a lot of footage of punching hyacinths with 2
I was going to say, where is he throwing a crankbait in Florida that deep?
Out offshore somewhere. But recently he's been doing, I think, Smith Lake or Lewis Lake. He's been catching some spots. I think he jumps around. I mean, I think that's what he does now. He's just full-time YouTuber, but
that's good.
He said
a 49-pound bag.
That's it.
Holy
dude, it was unbelievable. I mean, there were 10-pounders mixed in there, and he I don't know.
We need to make a trip.
I'm gonna watch that again. Yeah, we need to make a trip. Yeah, listen to Rick Clunn on Bass Talk Live. What's up, Rick? Good to see you in here.
Yeah, I've heard that show. Yeah, it was good on there.
Yeah, Bass Talk Live is a great podcast.
Sean says we should all get a drone. I think it's very cool.
Man, I want a drone.
I have one.
Do you?
Downstairs.
Gosh, Sean, it gets to a point though where
I'm just not.
Are you
trustworthy enough to put that $500 GoPro on it?
Yeah, I know.
It's a cheap one, so that's why I haven't messed with it.
I'd like to get one, especially in the spring where you know you're going to be catching some fish in a pretty quick time frame. Say 10 minutes you're going to catch one because that's kind of the hover time on a lot of those.
Yep.
But you can put that thing to hover, 30 feet from your boat and just shoot you fishing. And I think that I'd like to see some topwater action on that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
like a fish come up, blow up on a frog out of the grass. Man.
Yeah, Tom said I caught him on his show the other day. And Moxon SB fishing was a good one as well. Yeah, he does some really great work. I watched him from the get go. Then he went on the 50 state tour or whatever. I kind of I didn't lose interest in him, but that's kind of when I started my channel or started doing some stuff. And that's the one thing I will say, guys, if you've got a channel just starting off and you're wanting us to see it, we do try to watch it. But you have to understand when we're trying to get footage and edit and everything else, it takes so much time away from being able to go back and watch YouTube channels. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't watch half, probably maybe a quarter of what I used to.
Right.
I mean, you just don't have time. And by the time you do get some time, it's either family time or, you're so tired of looking at a screen, you don't even want nothing to do with it at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom, that autocorrect. It's pretty tricky sometimes. Tom says Huff was his name, and I hate the autocorrect.
Yeah.
Mega Bass USA is a channel with a lot of Chris Saldane. I like Chris Saldane. I've really gotten to like him the last year or so. He's that tournament where he's on Gunnersville, where he had those spoonfish all fired up out on that school. He just ran out of time. Have you watched that clip? Mm-hmm. It's not too long ago. I'll send it to you. It's super, super intense. He's got this big school of bass fired up, but he only has 5 minutes to fish, and it's popping. It's popping. He's throwing one of them Ben Parker Magnum spoons.
Oh, good God!
And they're jacking it, but he's missing some of them. Some of them are jumping off. Some of them are not getting hooked, and he'll get one in every time. And they're down there. He can feel the spoon hitting, and he's got the tournament won right there if he can get them in the boat.
It's like I told you that big school I was fishing. I was throwing the Ned rig in and the jigs, and I could feel it hitting them, and I couldn't get them to bite for nothing. But that's when it's really aggravating.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, Nate said never heard of the 10XD until I seen that video and catching that sack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I will say that's one thing that I do throw. That there's not a lot of guys in my local club that throw it.
The 10XD.
They're not going to get out real deep. They're not going to get off the bank. We got a lot of people that they're bank fishermen, which is fully understandable. That's how most people are. I think the offshore game is really coming around though. And that's one thing that I push myself to do is get offshore, because eventually it's going to come. That's where you're going to have to go, because everybody's going to be beating the bank, and you're going to be the only one out there offshore, catching the better quality, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's I spent a lot of time offshore, like two to 3 years ago. There was a couple of years, about when I bought my Lowrance stuff with my side scan. I spent several years out there offshore, and I forgot to come in fishing shallow again. I got every time I'd go fishing, I'd go out exploring. I would check channel swings and points and stuff way out deep, and I honestly got to where I lost a little bit of accuracy in my pitching stuff because I spent so much time off the bank.
Throwing wildly.
Yeah. Throwing at the graph, throwing off of what you're seeing on the graph. So it was refreshing though to come up shallow and start shallow.
I agree.
It was nice.
Yeah. Adam Savage made it in. About time, dude, man.
What's up, big dogs? Let's see. Nate says it's been fun watching SB grow. Hopefully, I can watch you guys grow the same way, man. I hope you stick around, Nate. Yeah. We got no plans of stopping. We're just going to keep going full throttle and see where it takes us. It's fun, man.
Hopefully in 5 years we can afford to make a little trip somewhere.
Maybe we can buy that LiveScope like Matt was talking about.
Maybe.
5 years and get to create some revenue.
Maybe make a trip to Kentucky, go all out.
Right. So guys, I think we're gonna get off here, man. It's been great that you guys have stayed with us this long. If you're looking for some jigs, check out Moccasin Lures. They make great products. We both got discount codes.
And both of them are in the
it's all linked. Go check out Matt at 3pound Fishing. He does some really good videos. if you want to learn more about that Garmin LiveScope stuff, he's got several tutorial videos on that stuff. He's out there several times a week using that product. So he's got a lot of time on that unit and he knows what he's talking about. And if you're looking for a guide trip, he's a great guide. So that's really all I got, man. I really appreciate you guys sticking around with us. It's been great hanging with y'all.
And one last thing here. If you guys know of anybody that's got, let's just say a decent channel or is very informative and would like to join us on the live stream one night, make sure you tell them, get a hold of us, let us know. We're constantly going to be looking for people to have on the stream. So it really does make it nice, to have somebody else's opinion out there too. So, if you guys know somebody, like I said, let us know or tell them to get a hold of us one way or the other, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, and we can fit him in between Luke Duncan and I guess Scott Martin. Yeah, we'll try to squeeze, some local guy in between them.
At least my guy answers back.
I don't see that happening, but you never know. You never know. So, all right, guys, man, we appreciate it. You guys have a good week, and we'll see you next Monday.
See you guys.